Hello and welcome to Blush, the world's first wellness show that's actually entertaining. I'm Hiva and I quit law so I can help you look and feel your best. Together, we get into food, nutrition, all the latest wellness trends, but we also laugh, get silly, drop a few F-bombs, and go on a million tangents. So if that sounds like your vibe, we're about to be best friends. Hi, hello, happy Tuesday. Real quick, I do have to apologize for my appearance. I'm literally wearing pajamas. Well, okay. You would think if I say I'm wearing pajamas, you would think I rolled out of bed and did this, which I think would be a lot better than what actually happened. But let me walk you through what actually happened. I got up, I did my thing, brushed my teeth, did my morning pages, drank my beverages, went to Solid Core, came back. I took off the top half of my workout outfit. I still have on my workout leggings and socks, and then I put my pajamas back on the top. So that's what you're looking at. Plus, the face is not facing. The face is not facing these days. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's because my sinuses have been exploding for the past 12 years, but something's not great. And I've been blowing my nose so much, which I'm really grateful for, because honestly, with this sinus thing, which at this point I'm actually just assuming that it's a sinus thing. I don't even know for sure. But regardless, with this thing, it's not like I've been congested in the nose and blowing my nose a lot and stuff like that. It's been very much back of the house. So I feel like at least what I'm doing is maybe bringing it to the front. I don't know. Either way, I've been blowing my nose so much that I put diaper rash cream inside my nostrils because they were so raw. So yeah, that's kind of what you're looking at if you're looking on video. And this might be the one week where I will say, if you're not watching on video, good for you. Keep it that way. You're honestly, shield your eyes. There's nothing to see here. Oh, and I have no makeup on. So, well, I put a tiny bit of the Rhode Pocket Blush on, just to give it a little bit of color, but that's about it. And the nails continue to be a disaster. I am getting them fixed this week, but I'm also recording episodes this week, so they're probably not going to be fixed by next episode, if that makes sense. Okay, so moving right along, we do have a Q&A episode and we have some fun questions. So I do want to get into them. There's one that I actually, I first started to write down my tips, and then I decided to just go do a bit of research into the statistics, and there was something I read that shocked me, and we have to talk about it. So we're going to start with that question. The question says, every year I gain weight during the holidays. I really don't want to this year. Any tips? So first I just started to write down tips, and then I decided to do a bit of research, and this really shocked me. So there's been this long-standing theory, assumption, adage. That's not how you pronounce that word. Oh my God, it's adage, isn't it? This is crazy. I should just stop saying interesting words. I should really simplify it because I clearly don't know how to pronounce any of them. Anyway, there's been this long-standing saying in society that people gain around 5 pounds over the holidays. And in fact, I asked Ozzy yesterday, I said, how many pounds do you think people gain over the holidays? And that was a very difficult conversation because he doesn't know what the holidays are. To him, it's, he's from Australia. So number one, they call vacations holidays. Anytime you go on a vacation, that's a holiday. Number two, I don't think they refer to Christmas as the holidays. That's something I think we started doing in America to be PC and be inclusive. And it's really fucking funny because the holidays of the other religions are so they're so not on theme. Hanukkah falls around this time of the year some years, and that's definitely not even close to being the biggest Jewish holiday. And then what is the Muslim version? Ramadan, which also isn't even always this time of year. It really depends on the calendar. Sometimes it's in the middle of the fucking summer, but regardless, Ramadan isn't like a party celebration.
Like, people are starving themselves, it's not a good time. So I do think, I applaud the efforts at inclusiveness. We're gonna roll with inclusiveness today, but I just feel like it really missed the mark. And I think that is true for a lot of PC stuff. One that really drives me crazy, and I maybe shouldn't say this, is the whole we're not calling them homeless anymore, we're calling them unhoused. It's like, well, let's first of all stop calling them I think that would help. Number two, I just feel like they're more concerned about whether they have shelter or not than they are over what words we're using, because in either scenario we're using the word home, and then we're using either a prefix or a suffix that means that they don't have the home. Does it really matter if you put it in the beginning of the word or the end of the word? And I think that this is a failure of middle-aged women, honestly. Like, middle-aged women are the ones who are getting outraged by this type of thing and demanding that people change the words that they use for things. Bitch, find a solution, okay? Find a solution. Find a way to fucking help. Sitting around yelling at people on the internet because they use the wrong word, I'm going to go out on a limb, probably not the most helpful thing. Donate. Put your money where your fucking mouth is, you dumb cunt. Okay, anyway, I'm thinking of one very specific person she just is so self-righteous about her social justice stuff, but then literally donates to nothing. I've never seen her volunteer once. I barely even see her go to protests, okay? That's like, what... What do you think you're accomplishing? Word police? God, I hate this bitch. Anyway, how did we get here? Let's get back to it. Okay, so so I asked Ozzy how much weight he thinks people gain. And so then I had to specify basically from Thanksgiving to January, how much weight do you think people gain? And he also said he thought it was 5 pounds. The truth surprised me, and this has been studied several times. The average weight gain across studies is no more than 1 to 2 pounds for this period of time. It's very specifically, the average across studies is 0.8 pounds to 1.5 pounds. So that's way less than people think it is. In fact, if you gain a pound, you're probably really not going to notice that you gained that pound unless you're really, really small. Like, I'm really short, so I notice probably, I don't fucking know. If I gain a pound, maybe not. Who the fuck knows? But I don't think the vast majority of people are even going to notice a pound of weight gain. So just to start there, the average weight gain over the holidays is far less than we think it is. But here's the more interesting part, in my opinion. Research shows that most people do not lose that weight after the holidays. Some even gain even more. So the biggest study on this subject showed that on average, participants gained 0.8 pounds during the holidays. Great. And then they looked at those same people again in March and found that on average, they had gained 1.05 pounds by March. So from January to March, they just continued to gain weight. And basically, they're not really losing that weight. So my understanding of this from the research that I've done, which is incomplete, is that basically every year people are gaining 1 to 2 pounds, and that's just going up over time. And that might explain why people think that their metabolism drops so much. It's like, no, you're just gaining weight. That's what it is. Like, it's not like your metabolism dropped and now you can't eat as much as you used to, and that's why you're gaining all the weight. No, you're just gaining weight every winter and never losing it. So that is kind of shocking. By the way, if you're curious, that study is called a prospective study of holiday weight gain, and it was in the New England Journal of Medicine, and it was published in 2015, I think. I have the DOI number if anyone really wants to look it up or anything. So I did find that shocking. So again, 1 to 2 pounds, not really a concern. But when we're talking about 1 to 2 pounds accumulating year after year after year after year, then, over the course of a decade, we're potentially looking at a bit of a metabolic health problem. We're going to see changes in insulin resistance. We're going to see changes in just overall metabolic health, which is not ideal. So I do think that it's probably advisable. God, I still have this corn on my finger. It kind of ebbs and flows in terms of like sometimes it'll just peel off on its own, but then it always comes back. I really think I need to go to a dermatologist for this. If anyone has a good medical dermatologist in New York City, can you let me know? I mean, I can't imagine this is a very complex issue. I feel like they should be able to just laser it off. I have tried using corn medications, the topical ones. The problem is because it's on my hand and not on my foot like a normal fucking person, the medication never stays on. So it's just a whole situation that I'm not going to get into. Nevertheless, so I do think it's probably advisable for most people to try to avoid that holiday weight gain, even if it is minor, just because we're looking at a bigger issue over time potentially. But again, I wouldn't stress too much about 1 to 2 pounds. And I do think it's important to just have fun. So I would not all of a sudden be like, oh my God, I have to like really diet and track my calories and do all these crazy things. Or, I have to skip this and skip that so that I can do 20 workouts a day or whatever. Like the holidays are meant for family and friends and connection and fun. And I would not lose sight of that if I were you. Nevertheless, here are my tips. My number one tip is to eat everything, just eat it in moderation. So don't go to Thanksgiving dinner and be like, no, I'm not going to have stuffing. Like it has so much butter and bread and whatever. Stuffing is delicious. Stuffing is one of the greatest gifts to humanity. Who invented stuffing? What a weird concept. It sounds disgusting, but it's so fucking good. And on that note, I would say stuffing's sweet cousin is bread pudding, which is literally my favorite dessert. Bread pudding with a good bourbon caramel sauce and some ice cream, like a really good vanilla ice cream. Can't beat. The best fucking dessert out there. Now, have I had bread pudding recently? No, I've not had bread pudding since before I was vegan. I mean, I could make it. I can't imagine that it's that hard to make vegan bread pudding. I would imagine it's a little harder to make a healthy bread pudding, but I eat bread. I should make a vegan bread pudding. Oh, that sounds so good. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, I have developed a high protein ice cream recipe so I could pair that very nicely. And your girl knows how to make a good caramel. Ooh, I think it might be bread pudding time. Anyway. Moving right along from that, stuffing is delicious. Yeah, I wouldn't deprive yourself because honestly, all that's going to end up happening is you're going to overeat or going to binge. But having a few bites of anything that you want is not going to tip the scale. It's really going to be when you eat a ton of quantity of things. And that brings me to my next tip, and this might be actually the single most important tip I'll give here. You're probably not going to meet this goal, but just aim to double your steps. I don't think you're going to be able to literally double your steps. I do think that's pretty aggressive. But the reason I say that is because a big part of why people never lose the weight is because what's called non-exercise activity thermogenesis, aka NEAT, which is our movement that's not exercise, tends to go down substantially in the winter. We're just moving less. We're walking less. It's cold outside. We park closer to places. I love how much I talk about parking in cars when I literally don't own a car and haven't driven a car since 2012, but that's neither here nor there. People park closer to places because it's cold. You don't want to be outside as much. Even in the house, I think people tend to, this is my own theory, by the way, I've done no research on this. I would imagine that people tend to move less even in the house just because you're cold. You know, when you're cold and you just do not want to fucking get up from the couch. I think that that's true. I think that our activity overall goes down, and simultaneously we're eating a lot richer foods, and we probably need more food. Like, we need more energy in the winter because we have less sun, you know, we have less sun. We need energy to warm our bodies up, and like, quite frankly, everything sucks. So you just have to kind of eat to maintain your mental health. Like, it makes sense why this happens. So rather than, I would continue to be consistent with working out and find a way to do that while also engaging in all the holiday things like travel and parties, etc. But quite frankly, I think focusing on just walking more is going to do so much more for you. Like, bundle up more. People fucking run outside. I think we can manage to walk outside a bit more. I know it's unpleasant, but there's actually no better feeling than really crisp air on your face as you're really bundled up and going for a winter walk. I actually love the feeling. It's just hard to motivate yourself to do it. Like, it fucking sucks. And if that sounds like the worst thing in the world for you, I would recommend two things. Number one, you could get a walking pad for inside your home. You could even kind of use it as like a, you know, take your calls on it, or maybe watch TV while being on it or something like that. And the other thing, if you live in an apartment complex, you could try taking the stairs instead of the elevator for the winter. Just like finding little ways to sneak in more movement is going to do so much for you. I think it's going to do a lot more for you than trying a new workout regimen or a new workout plan or something like that. You know what I mean? Okay. So that's those things. Another tip is to, if you're going out, going to parties, going to all these things and you're drinking alcohol, try to stick to less sugary drinks. So things like vodka and tequila with unsweetened mixers, you know, to the extent possible, not having too many really sugary, intense cocktails, tons of like fucking eggnog and shit like that, which, by the way, I have never had alcoholic eggnog in my life. My first foray into eggnog ever. Eggnog was something I'd always hear about, but I had never experienced, I guess in part because I lived in Germany till I was 11, yada, yada, yada. But when we moved to America, people would talk about eggnog all the time, but I'd never had it. You know, there are just certain things where if your family doesn't do them and you're kind of a socially isolated person, I guess you don't really encounter them much. So yeah, my first foray into eggnog was, you know, Silk, the plant milk brand. I remember they made a silk nog or eggnog or something. I don't remember. This is so long ago. I was a junior probably or so. I was in high school, and it wasn't my senior year of high school either, I don't think. So I don't even know if almond milk was on the scene yet, not to date myself. It may have been just a soy. Yeah, I think it was a soy nog by the Silk brand. And I remember thinking, this is the most delicious thing I've ever fucking had. And people were surprised that I liked it because they all say it's so rich. But I think because it was soy, it was actually a lot lighter, and I really, really enjoyed it. And then I've had proper dairy eggnog, I think once at a friend's house, but it wasn't spiked. So yeah, I've never had spiked eggnog. I don't think I would like that consistency. I don't like creaminess in alcohol. You know, when I lived in DC, there was this burger place right across from me. Very good burger place. This was before I was vegan, obviously. Like gourmet, thick, juicy patty burgers. Really good onion rings too. Oh my God. The onion rings were the kind that's a really thick piece of onion, just beautifully breaded. I loved their onion rings. Their fries were good too. Sweet potato fries were excellent. Their burgers were so good. I would get this one burger that had sauteed mushrooms, Benton bacon, which apparently is really thick cut bacon. It's almost like pork belly. That's how thick. And blue cheese, and I would add a fried egg on top, and then again and maybe caramelized onions too. I can't really remember. And the burger is just such a thick, juicy patty, and it's just kind of bloody inside, and you bite in and everything's creamy and salty and pungent from the blue cheese. Oh, so fucking good. One of the best burgers of my life. Another really good burger that I've had. I love that. I hope this is helping you not gain weight over the holidays. Me talking about burgers for 45 minutes. Another really good burger I've had is in North Carolina. One of my best friends, well, I guess she's from there, but she also went to school there and stuff. And I went down to visit her. Well, I didn't even really go down to visit her. I went down because one of my favorite bands was playing. So I went down, stayed with her. We went together. It was a disaster of a night. But the next day, I think I stayed for a couple of days. Things were out of control. I'm not going to get into it, but whatever. Anyway, so the next day we got takeout from one of her favorite places, and it's this burger that had onion jam and goat cheese on top. What the fuck? That was so fucking good. And honestly, I've been meaning to make a healthy version of onion jam for a very long time. Maybe I'll get on that ASAP. That sounds so good. I think I could make a delicious onion jam. Oh my God. It's like all I can think about now. Maybe I'll do it today. No, just kidding. She's too sick. Anyway, so why are we here? Oh, okay. The burger place in DC. So the burger place in DC also had really good shakes, but they also had alcoholic shakes, and they had one that was phenomenal. It was a black and white shake with Fireball in it and a homemade toasted marshmallow on top. It was so fucking delicious. But to me, that's not, I don't know how to phrase this. It's like, it's too rich for alcohol. Like, it's almost like you're not even going to feel the alcohol in your system. And to think like you'd have to have 2 drinks to be able to feel it. You're really going to have 2 thick ass black and white milkshakes with 2 homemade toasted marshmallows on top. So it kind of defeats the purpose of drinking. And then if you're not really going to feel the alcohol, then it's like, well, why would I even ingest? Like, why would I go through the effort of poisoning my body if I'm not even going to feel the alcohol? Like, who is that serving? Who is that for? Quite literally. You know what I mean? Anyway, so yeah, I wouldn't have that at your holiday parties. I'm sure every holiday party you'll be attending serves a black and white milkshake with Fireball and a toasted homemade marshmallow on top. I mean, I'm sure that's the drink of choice at your holiday parties. But no, seriously, I would just keep it lighter, keep it fresher. That's going to help you. And the other thing I want to say is, with the holiday weight gain or any sort of rapid weight gain, honestly, most of it tends to be fluid. It's not even fat. I mean, think about, you have to eat 3,500 calories above the amount that you're burning from non-exercise movement that we talked about before, above what you're burning at just your basal metabolic rate, and above any sort of intentional exercise. 3,500 calories above that. That's a lot of calories, right? I mean, a slice of bread is like 90 calories. So you'd have to eat, let's just say 100 calories. You'd have to eat 350 slices of bread, which sounds like a phenomenal time. Where do I sign up? Can I get some tomatoes and some avocados? Ooh, you know my favorite avocado toast, just like a very simple avocado toast. I just think this is, to me, the most basic but foolproof way to do avocado toast. First of all, mash it onto the toast. It's always going to taste better mashed on than if you slice it on. Slicing looks prettier. Mashing tastes better. A little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of, or a lot of bit of raw, very thinly sliced red onions. Can't be beat. Actually, I lied. I don't even do the salt. I think most people would like the salt. I don't even fucking need the salt. All I need is the red onion and the lemon. Ah, best. Anyway, moving right along. So it really is mostly water weight, and a lot of that water weight is actually lymph. Not mostly, but some of that water weight is lymph. So one thing that I think really, really helps in this time of year, both for the appearance of weight gain, but also for your immune system, because the lymphatic system is so closely tied to the immune system, is doing manual lymphatic drainage. And I really do think you should probably see a specialist. That being said, I'll tell you exactly how I do it, and I'll demo it for the people who are watching on video, to whom, again, I'm so sorry for my general appearance. So I start with and I'm not an expert in lymph, by the way. I'm trying to book an expert on lymph to come on the show, but it's a little tricky. You know what's really hard for me with finding guests for this show is I have to find someone who I trust, who will say things that I think aren't bullshit, which in this day and age is actually exceptionally difficult. I want them to be informed on the subject and be able to speak on it confidently, but I also would like them to be a little bit entertaining. And unfortunately, there is very little overlap. There are very few people who are very informed in a subject, any subject, and are also entertaining, as it turns out. So that's kind of why there's a bit of a dearth of guests on the podcast. Anyway, so this is what I do based on asking ChatGPT 1,000 questions and also talking to some people who have expertise in the lymph space. So I start with my collarbones and like hold my fingers lightly above my collarbones. This is also hard because I have a bit of a rash over here, but I'll do my best. And so first I just pull. And the thing with lymph is the lymph nodes and lymph ducts are right below the skin. They're not very deep, so you don't want to use a lot of pressure. The way it's been described to me is you almost want to tug at the skin so the skin is moving rather than your fingers gliding over the skin, because that's really going to massage the lymph nodes. So I start with just a light tugging motion and I go back and forth above and below the collarbone, but like pretty much attached to the collarbone, if that makes sense. And then I do some light tapping with my fingertips. And then I do some light circles with my fingertips. And I'll do that a little bit, like maybe like 5 times each. But sometimes I speed it up because, you know, your girl gets lazy, whatever. And then I move on to my face. So I go right in front of and right behind the ears. You can kind of do this like Star Trek thing with your fingers where you have your index and middle finger and ring and pinky fingers separated and just kind of tug back and forth on that skin along the ears. If that makes sense. Speaking of Star Trek, quick intermission. I am reading a science fiction book and it is the best time I've had in my life. Like, I think I'm a dork. And I love that for me. I love when girls have dorky traits, especially when I like when people are complex and layered and they seem one way and then there's something that comes completely out of left field. Like something I used to love when I was younger was a girl who's really, I have this friend. Okay, this is the best example. I have this friend. I'm not going to say her name. You'll see why in 2 seconds. She's blonde. She's from the South. She's so pretty. She's very prim and proper and very, I don't know, like Martha Stewart kind of vibes, like that kind of girl, just very, you know, Martha Stewart before she went to jail kind of vibes, you know what I mean? Like she seems like someone who should be hosting a show on the Food Network about entertaining. She's very, you know, just like a prim, proper, blonde Southern girl. She's married with 3 kids and just the best mom and so girly and dainty and wears sundresses and Lily Pulitzer, that kind of vibe. And this bitch smokes so much weed and I'm sure she doesn't now that she has kids. I haven't asked her, but I assume she can't be getting high around her kids. But she just is this like little cool pothead girl who will like listen to cool ass music and get high. And just the juxtaposition between the two, I think is so fucking cool. Or I know this other girl who's really like, she's like a tall, beautiful, like she kind of looks like Zendaya model type, and she's really into anime. It's just like you don't really see it coming. I love that trait. So yeah, I love being into science fiction for me. I mean, I haven't explored with it too much. It's the first science fiction book I'm reading. I've never enjoyed anything more in my life. I've watched a little science fiction, Battlestar Galactica being the prime example, which is one of the best shows ever made. The reboot that came out in 2004. Flawless show. There is not one note I could give to that show. It's so fucking good. So, I mean, I knew I was interested. So when my friend recommended a book to me, she said, I do have a book recommendation, but it's science fiction. I don't know if you'd be into that. I was like, no, I think I'd be into that. I've never been more into anything in my entire life. Okay, coming back here. So I have not really seen Star Trek, but I do think I actually kind of watched Star Trek as a very little kid on TV because I recall it being on a lot. So I think I did watch it and enjoy it. Wow, I'm getting really hungry. Okay, so then we come over to the ears. So right in front of and behind the ears, again, lightly tug on the skin back and forth. And then we'll do some tapping. I was told to even bring it down along the jaw when you do the tapping. I feel it the most when I go behind my ears. I don't know if that's unique to me or if that's where I have lymph congestion or what. I don't know. Again, I'm not an expert. And then you want to do the circles. The circles feel so good, especially right behind the ears. I'm loving this so much. Okay, this is starting to sound kind of sexual, so I'm going to stop. And then I've also been told you can kind of lightly drag with your fingertips from behind your ears down to the collarbone. And by the way, apparently the order in which you do this is really, really important. So next, the armpits. Again, the same three motions. So the pulling back and forth, the tapping, and the circles. This one is not my favorite to do. I don't know why. It just feels difficult and inaccessible. And then you want to come to the stomach. And my understanding of this, which again could be wrong, is that you want to go for the area above your belly button and below your ribs. And again, you want to do kind of the same three things: the tugging, the tapping, and the rolling, but spend more time here. So the three most important that we're going to touch are the collarbone, the stomach, and the groin. But I think especially the stomach and the collarbone are really, really important ones. So yeah, do those three things. The other thing, if I have time, that I'll do when I'm on the stomach area is I'll lay on the ground, put my feet up against the wall, and then do really deep diaphragmatic breathing, which is actually one of the best things for lymph congestion, is my understanding. So it's kind of like, you know, how the heart pumps blood in the circulatory system. My understanding is that doing the deep diaphragmatic breathing is what pumps lymph flow, because the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump the way the circulatory system does. So it actually relies on us moving to be able to pump it, which now makes sense as to why there's so much excess lymph, because as a species, we're not moving nearly as much as we have evolved to. Anyway, so I'll do deep belly breathing. So pull it in so deep that I watch my lower belly rise, and then put light pressure with my fingertips on that area. And as I exhale, let the hands really sink and pull. So I'll do that a few times. Then I'll do the regular tugging, the tapping, the circles. And then I come down to the groin and I go to the crease between my thigh and my, what's it called? A PUFA? Fupa. like the what's covered by the underwear portion, the, you know, where the hair is portion, right in that crease. Like if you look at a Barbie doll where the line is, the seam is, right in there, I do the same three things: the pulling, the tapping, the circles. And then I think you're supposed to do behind your knees too. Quite frankly, I never fucking do that. And then if I want to go even deeper, I'll gua sha in between there, but I never really have time for that. And honestly, even if you do that first thing in the morning, just like a quick version of it before you get out of bed, especially even if you just do a few of the deep diaphragmatic breathing and then you do a little on your belly and your collarbones, I notice a difference when I get out of bed like that. Like that really takes the puffiness, that morning puffiness away. So I think something like that could really, really help with the appearance of weight gain that you're noticing over the holiday season. Okay, I'm looking at, okay, this is a quick question that I can knock out. Hi, I'm a new listener and really loving being here. Oh my God, welcome. I'm just figuring out some of the backstories here. Is Ozzy your husband, boyfriend? Is that his name? Did I spell that correctly? It's spelled Ozzy. No. So no to all the questions. No, he is my boyfriend. I call him Ozzy as in Aussie because he's from Australia. So the backstory is this podcast really started as a dating and relationships podcast, which is hard to imagine because I'm so bad at them, but you know, whatever. And at the time I was single. It was actually, the podcast started before I even met Ozzy, but I was actively dating. I was going out with guys. I wanted to, you know, find my soulmate and get settled down, etc. That really was my goal. And what happened was when COVID hit in 2020, I looked around at my life and I realized my life, while everyone's freaking out about how much everything has changed, my life kind of looked the same. I mean, I was working from home before, I was working from home then. I never went out before, I never went out then. I never really interacted with people before, I never interacted with people then. And it was this kind of wake up call of, okay, this isn't what I want my life to look at. Like I want community, I want to be in a relationship, I want to be around people, I have to make some changes. So when things started to kind of open up late May, early June, I got on the dating apps and I started dating fairly aggressively. And then my friend and I started a podcast and I would talk about my dating adventures. And so I just used nicknames for all the guys I'd go out with, in part because, you know, we're not going to publicly talk about someone with their real name on a podcast, but in part because that's what I actually always did throughout my life. I don't know about you. I do think I'm not the only person who does this, but I did this shit in high school. Like when I was talking to multiple guys, I wasn't talking about them with their name. I usually would just give them a random nickname: gym guy, trainer guy, tennis guy, mall guy, tall guy. There were all these various guys. And so when we started the podcast, we kind of did the same thing. And I called Ozzy because he's Australian. And the nickname is now stuck. We've been together, 4 to 5 years. And yeah, and I still call him Ozzy on the podcast. So that's where that came from. He is not my husband. We are not married, but we do live together in a, I would say, pretty serious committed relationship, but I guess you'd have to ask him if he agrees. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's a bit of that situation there. And if you ever have other questions about backstory or inside jokes on the show or things like that, feel free to fire them away. Let's do one more question. My daughter, who actually turned me onto your podcast, is exactly like you. She's young. Well, I'm not that young. Lives in an apartment in the city and really into wellness. Do you have good gift suggestions or stocking stuffers for Christmas? I do. And also, should I do a gift guide on social media? I can. I never really know if these things are helpful, in part because I personally fucking hate receiving gifts. So I don't know. Anyway, So a few ideas. Number one, for stocking stuffers, I think really fun stocking stuffers are sheet masks. You know, there's the Biodance one is really popular. I really like the loop ones. I just used one of those and I really liked it. And it felt more comfortable on me than the Biodance one. I have some Medicube ones arriving, but they're individually packed. So they're easy, cute little stocking stuffers. Same thing with those eye patches that you can leave in the fridge. A lot of them are individually packed, so you can just put one or two as little stocking stuffers. Now, stocking stuffers is not an area of expertise for me because we've never had stockings, so I don't really entirely know how it works, but I don't think it's that complex of a subject. Like, I think I get it. So I think that's cool. Dead Cool is my favorite fragrance brand, and they make samplers. I think those would be little, like, cute little stocking stuffers, and it's a really clean, non-toxic brand. Another one that I think would be cute are the Summer Fridays lip balms. Those are so good, and they're different colors, and they're cute and little. Same with the Rhode Lip Peptide, actually, I think could be really good. Another thing that I think could be a great gift for someone who's really into wellness is getting them gift certificates for services, things like lymphatic drainage massages. Yeah, that's it. Maybe a place with a sauna and a cold plunge, that type of place, like a day pass to something like that. You know what I mean? Something like that I think could be a really fun gift. Gadgets, if you're looking for more expensive things like red light masks, sauna blanket. I love my higher dose sauna blanket. Pemf mats, vibration plates. Vibration plate is a little lower price point than some of these other things. I kind of like my Medicube. It's called like the Booster Pro or something, and has a few different, it has face EMS and microcurrent and stuff like that in it. Does it really work? I don't know, but actually, I do feel like when I do the air shot mode, which you're only supposed to do a couple times a week, I do feel like I see a very instant difference, but I don't know if the other settings, how much they actually do, but it's kind of a fun little thing. For someone who's into kitchen wellnessy things, especially nice chic kitchen things, there's so many ways you could go here. You could do a really nice type of matcha. There's one from Tea Dealers that I have that's $70 for the tin, which is insane, but it's so fucking good. Or a matcha set with, you know, the bowl and the whisk and the strainer. I think that could be really chic. Ooh, I just saw Quince. You know that brand Quince that has luxury, kind of higher end goods for really affordable price points? They have a fresh white truffle you can get on there for $2.50, which isn't bad for something, you know, for a good white truffle like that. Something like that I think could be good. Really nice handmade ceramics. I really like the ones from Earthen. Also RV Pottery has really pretty work. Earthen Element. Ooh, the Walter water filter, the ceramic housing for the Berkey filter, something like that could be cool. A Vitamix, a really nice Japanese knife. And then if you want something more cozy and wintry, I think you could make like a nice little cozy kit with some face masks, some hand cream, some foot cream. I just got the Prequel foot cream and I really, really like it. And some nice fuzzy socks. There's one from Amazon that I just got. I think it's called Cloud Sock. That's such a nice little gift duo. Or slippers. I just got some really great ones from Bombas. So yeah, that's kind of the direction I would go. Let me know if you want me to do a proper gift guide, though I can, with links and stuff to make it a little bit easier. And I think we're going to wrap up here because I'm about to suffocate on my own sinus fluids. So fun times going on here. Thank you so much for being here. There's an outro, so I'm not going to repeat it. Love you. Bye.
If you loved that episode as much as I hope you did, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a thing, and check out some past episodes while you wait for the new one to drop next week. And until next week, make sure to stay cunty out there.